and welcome to the channel. Today I am going to be canning some chicken for the very first time. So join me in the kitchen while I can up some chicken. So I've already prepared my chicken and I am now just going to be taking it out of this glass bowl and placing it in my jars. I don't know how many jars I'm going to need. I have 6, so we're going to start there. I kind of have a feeling that I'm probably only going to need maybe 4. 2 pounds of chicken. It looks like I may only need a few jars to get me started. I'm trying to move some stuff out of the way. Trying not to cross-contaminate anything. I'm using gloves in order to not touch everything that I've used that hand to take the chicken out of the bowl with. It looks like maybe I'm only gonna get 2 jars of chicken. And that's okay. I was making pot pies and I had 2 pounds of chicken left over. So I figured, why not can chicken for the first time? Looks like I'm only going to have 2 pint-sized jars of chicken. And that's pretty much it. You add your chicken to your jars. We're going to clean the rims, put the lids and the rings on, and get them in the canner. Let me clean off my hands because I don't want to cross-contaminate anything. When you're working with meat, you want to make sure that everything you touch is cleaned and sanitized before you move on to the next step. Now that I've cleaned up after myself, I'm going to take some white vinegar and I'm going to clean the rim of my jars. Now my jars were run through the dishwasher. They are clean. My lids were run through the dishwasher. They are clean. I've even washed my lids after I took them out of the dishwasher because sometimes the dishwasher will make things rusty, and that I don't like. I moved all of my other jars out of the way since I only have 2 jars to can. I didn't want to run a small batch like this, but you have to do what you have to do. And so I am going to place my rings on my jars fingertip tight. You don't want to crank them down. Just like that. You know what? I was going to dry pack these. I changed my mind. I'm going to put some water in them. All right, I'm going to put some water. I'm just going to top them up with a little bit of water. I'm going to use my debubbler. You can use pretty much whatever you have, a chopstick. Mine came like this. It has a ruler along the side. I'm going to debubble and I will end up wiping my rings again, or I'm sorry, the rim of my jar again. This is my first time canning chicken, so I want to make sure that I get this right. I'm going to move this out of the way. I have a paper towel over to the side. I don't want to lay that down. I'm going to add a little bit more water to it just to cover it, because your chicken will make, depending on what type of chicken you have, it will make its own juices. You do not want it to overflow and cause siphoning. So I'm going to debubble one more time. Just like so. Just like so. Now I am going to wipe the rim of my jars one more time with vinegar, just to make sure that I did not get anything on it. I want to make sure that I get a proper seal. So I am just going to wipe one more time, like so. Just like so. And now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to put my lids on, ring on, fingertip tight. This one as well. Now these, I find they stick inside of the lids stick inside of the rings. It's really weird. Lid on and fingertip tight. I ended up not needing my lid lifter, so I'm going to place these inside of the canner. Now since these are not hot, I'm going to use my hand, lift them up and place them in the canner. Now when I take them out, I will not be using my hand. I have my jars inside of my canner. I will be placing my lid. Now I have a Presto 16 quart, and on the Presto you have a V that tells you close to the left, open to the right. You also have a V on your handle. Let's see if I can switch this around a little bit. You have a V right there on your handle. Can you guys see that? There we are. And so what you do is you take that V on your lid and you align it to the V on your handle. This particular canner, it can only go one way, the top, and then you just close it like so. So I'm going to readjust this on the eye to make sure that it's seating properly, like so. And now I'm going to turn on the canner. I'm going to turn on the stove, like so. I'm going to leave it on medium until it starts to steam for a good 10 minutes out of the steam pipe. And then I will put my weighted gauge. When it locks, this mechanism will pop up and then this top will no longer be able to come off. This is a security measure. So I'm going to let this come up to pressure. It'll steam and vent for a steady stream and vent for 10 minutes. Then I will put my weighted gauge on and then I will time this for 75 minutes. So for right now, I'm just going to wait for the heat to heat up the canner, because not only is the canner cold, but the jars are cold as well. I hope you guys can see it is beginning to steam. It has not fully come up to pressure yet because the little safety valve has not popped up. Can you guys see that? But it is beginning to drip a little bit of water. That's normal. There we go. There we go. Can you guys, I hope you guys saw that. I'm using my hands, so I'm hoping that I didn't miss it. But now I'm going to let that steam for a good 10 minutes before I put my pressure gauge on it. So we are getting there. My altitude, I put on 10 pounds of pressure. So I'm going to put on my weighted gauge and wait for it to start rocking. I'm going to make sure that the temperature is at the right spot in order for it to give me that nice little steady rock. And once it starts rocking, I will set my timer for 75 minutes. It took a few minutes, but as you can see, my weighted gauge has begun to wobble. So I need to turn on my timer for 75 minutes. And now we wait. Timer has gone off, so it's time to turn off the heat. Let it come down from pressure. My canner has come down off of pressure, and I have twisted the lid. I have taken, of course, first of all, I took the weighted gauge off. I twisted my lid, and now I'm just going to take it and push it back for just a little bit. I hope you guys saw that steam come out. I'm gonna let it just rest here for 5 or 10 minutes and let the rest of that steam vent out before I take my jars out. All right, it's time to take the jars out of the canner. And I'm so glad I've come to this part of canning. I'm really ready to walk away from the canning process because it does take time. All right, so this will be the first time I'm seeing it, like the first time you're seeing it. When you take your lid off with it going away from your face, but make sure that you're also being mindful of any condensation or liquid dripping off of your lid onto your stove and perhaps onto your feet. So if you're not wearing shoes, my recommendation is wear some shoes and make sure that if this does drip, it's not burning your feet. So I'm going to move this towards the center and then pick it up. There should be no steam because I let it sit here for quite some time and there isn't any steam. I'm just going to move that top over. And can you guys see? Let's move a little bit closer. Can you guys see what's going on in there? It doesn't appear that there's been any siphoning, but I do smell the chicken. That always worries me. So I am going to move you guys a little bit closer if I can. Let's see. Moved you guys a little bit closer. I can see that the jars are still bubbling. This is a part of canning that always makes me extremely nervous, the picking up of the jars, and it seems like my lids are not as secure. That one seems like it might be moving a little bit. Child, help me. All right, we're gonna pick this up and move it over. We're not tipping it. We're placing it down securely. Gonna grab the other one, squeezing it tightly, picking it up and moving it over securely. I'm gonna let it rest. I have not heard any popping. Let's take a look at this. Okay, the canner doesn't seem to have any liquid in there, so I'm not worried about that. You guys, can you all see my jars? It looks like I have some siphoning just a little bit in the jar to the left, but the meat is still covered. You see it's bubbling and boiling, you guys. Look at that. Wow. This is my first time pressure canning meat and I'm surprised at it. Now I'm looking at my rings and they were not rusty when I put them on. I washed them twice. I ran them through the dishwasher and I can see some rust there. That bothers me. I hope it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna do some research on that because I'm starting to feel a little uncertain about those rings now because they were not like that when I put them on the lids. I'm sorry, on the rings and on the jars. So, canning, it makes me really nervous. But this is what I have, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this canning process with me. I was hoping that I would have more than just these 2 jars, but this is all I got. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, share this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you like the content that I put out. And most of all, I hope all of you are having a wonderful day, night, or wherever you are in the world. I hope you are all safe and warm and you have all the provisions that you all need to take care of yourself during this time. Until next time, I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye for now.